Now, Saba Khanum is coming on to bring in her presentation, and she is from the Unani section of the medical systems, and we're very happy to have her on. Please go on with your, you have to unmute again and go on with your presentation, please.
So please allow me to share my slide.
Oh, I didn't, sorry, just a second. There we go. 1 second. There you are. Perfect. There you are. And if the connection is good enough, you can turn on the video. If there is issues with that, then you can just as well turn it off. You're muted, I guess.
So my
No.
slides are visible?
Visible. Perfect.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Saba Khanum. The topic of my presentation is the role of Giza in maintenance of well-being according to the Unani system of medicine. Slide is changing or not?
Right now, it's not. It's still on the first slide. Great.
So,
it's going. And if possible, maybe you can turn on your video. If it's too much on the internet connection, just leave it off. But we're not seeing you right now. But it's fine. We see the presentation. That's great.
Okay, it's okay. So here we discuss firstly Giza, secondly Giza and health and classification of health, and Tadbire Giza, special dietetics, and final conclusion. So what is Giza? Giza literally means food or dietary items, but all things we eat are not Giza. When a substance makes constitution of the body and does not affect the kafiyat or state of the body, it is called Giza. If a substance does not become the part of body or alter the function of human body, it is dawa or medicine. So hence Giza has to be part of the body after istihala, that is metabolism, and provide badal ma tahallul, that is substitute of dissolved matter or disintegrated matter, and it should not be affect the function of the body. And it has the same temperament, that is hot and moist, like just like Johare Batan. Apart from that, Giza is also part of the Asbabi Sitta Zaruriya, that is 6 essential factor for life. And Giza is also a source for the formation of akhlat. And akhlat affect the temperament of the individual. Therefore, human obliged to have good and balanced food for the formation of good akhlat in well-balanced state. So, according to Unani system of medicine, every individual has their own mizaj or temperament, like hot, cold, dry, and moist. And every giza has their own mizaj. So, Mu'tadil mizaj is the main facet for the health. It should be maintained on the different level, like cellular level, organ level, and individual level. Although mizaj or temperament is the halki, that is genetically determined, but akhlat also affected it, and it can be achieved by equilibrium of quality and quantity of the four akhlat when preserved. So akhlat is the initial product of the digestion of food. When food items taken by an individual passing through different digestive process reaches the liver, where different types of the fluids are formed, and these fluids are called akhlat. And these akhlat have their own mizaj, like gum or blood is hot and moist in temperament, and balgam has cold and moist temperament, and safra is hot and moist, and soda, that is black bile, has cold and dry temperament. As long as these akhlaq stay in equilibrium quality wise and quantity wise, human body endures health. So we can say that health is a state of human and body functions properly to maintain mizaj mu'tadil. So in Unani system of medicine, Giza is classified according to the nutritional value and kind formation of the food. First one is Ghizai Latif, that is light and soft diet. These are easily digestible food, just like fresh fruits, juices, pomegranate juices, or barley water. And second, Ghizai Ghalis or Kasif or heavy diets. These are not easily digestible and it produce viscous humor. For example, lentils, pulses, meat. And Ghizai Mutawwas or Ghizai Mu'tadil or moderate diet, it produces moderate viscosity of the humor. For example, milk and khichdi. Food are also classified according to their digestion, excretion process, and nutrition and chyme formation. According to digestion, Sariul Hazm Giza, that is easy to digest food. These are mostly light and moderate Giza, and Asirul Hazm Giza, these are difficult to digest food like meat, paneer, cheese, pulses. And Khalilul Fizul Giza having high excretory value, just like salad, meat of the wild birds. And Khalilul Fizul Giza having low excretory value, and these are similar to Kasirul Takziya Giza having high nutritive values, just like gehu ki roti, bread, dates, and raisins. And according to nutrition, there is also category Khalilul Takziya Giza having low nutritive values. These are similar to Kasirul Fizul Giza. And according to chyme formation, there is Jayyidul Famous Giza. These are good chyme forming giza like half boiled egg. And Radiul Famous Giza, these are bad chyme forming um, giza. When any vegetable or food does not digest properly, it produces safravi, sodami, or balgami matter. That is the morbid matter. And there are number of another classification like Saryul Nafus, Batyul Nafus according to absorption into the vessels, and Saryul Fasad Giza, Saryul and Batyul Fasad Giza. Saryul Fasad Giza, for example, these are easily get morbid in contact of the other kind, so it should be taken before food or empty stomach, just like fruits. Fruit should be taken before food. And there are other classifications, Saryu Nuzul and Batyul Nuzul, and classification according to Mizaj, Har Giza, Ratab Giza, hot food, moist food, dry food, and cold food. And there is also classification according to the taste, sweet food and bitter food, just like that. And Tadbir Hiza, eminent Unani scholars give hundreds of dietary recommendations about quantity of food, quality of food, frequency, timing, and before and after food precautions. They also mention Giza as per need in the particular season. Giza should be personalized to everybody according to their physical mizaj and diseases, if any disease present. For example, hot diet should recommended in cold temperament individuals. For and suitable diet according to their age, physique, lifestyle, habitation should be selected as per necessity. This is called tartibe giza. And regularity and punctuality of diet is also important. And simplest and best recommendation is that the best food for everyone is that which grows where they live. And but a single or similar diet not be sufficient for a person for all his or her needs. So giza should be combination of multiple types of giza in an appropriate portion. So these are some popular Unani combination of diet for these are used for different purpose and prescribed in special according to their need. So time does not allow me to describe all one by one. So these are Faluda, Gulkan, Harira Jat, all are very famous. And like Maul Asl, Mazira, Mazurat, Murabbajat. Pehwa, Murabba Jat are very famous, and also they works for immunomodulator, especially Murabba Amla is very famous. And so these are some good food recommendation. These all food are single, and these are full of nutrition. These all are immunomodulator, having antioxidant and multivitamins and multi-mineral properties. So my final conclusion is nowadays scientists have acknowledged the adequate intake of protein, calories, and micronutrient is crucial to maintain body defense. Prolonged starvation, dieting, overeating, and imbalanced diet cause harm to the body defensive capabilities. And Unani system of medicine relates health and immunity to the equilibrium state of mizaj and akhlaq. And Giza is the primary source for the akhlaq. So accurate quantity and quality of Giza is required to maintain good humor as long as balance in the kamiyat and kafiyat, that is quantity and quality of the akhlaq is maintained in the body, health is maintained, and it continues to function properly and provide strength to the fight from external and internal factors like pathogens, allergies, and restores the health. Apart from that, Ilaj Bil Giza plays an important role for prevention and treatment of the various diseases. Some diseases like anemia, malnutrition, vitamin deficiency can be treated by diet, and several lifestyle disorder also can be managed by selective diet either alone or as adjuvant with pharmacotherapy. So thank you for having listening me.
Very nice. Thank you. That was fast. Also, uh, very nice. Um, just now we learned about. I would definitely like to go deeper in certain parts. But one question, if you can still reply to that, is there a sort of a tradition of fasting in the Unani medicine too, or is fasting not really a part of that? Doctor?
Hello. Actually, fasting and diet recommendation according to their power. If patient have strength and he can do any work, so we can advise fasting. Otherwise, first we have to look for the strength of the patient or a person.
Okay, so it's not recommended
That is
for
Kuvat. Yes, Kuvat, strength
everyone.
or power.
Right, right. I understand. No, because it's always because it seems that you know we have here um, not this punctual kind of eating and in time and so on, and in other systems maybe we have uh, only eat when you're hungry, and maybe on a certain day you are not hungry enough at a certain time, but here you try to set up a routine for the body. I understand. So Vinayak, did you
I got the mail, so I can host it.
so now as I said, I would I will put some extra emphasis over time on these um, Unani rules of eating and living anyway, because this is a kind of what I want to add is because Ayurveda and Siddha and some other medical systems from India are very much part of the same bigger kind of medical system as uh, uh, it was explained at one point in the pre-talks. Uh, it all used to be called Indian medicine, but over time, especially due to regional differences and so on, it became Ayurveda and Siddha and so on. But Unani is kind of different. It's also coming more from the Persian medicine, and therefore there are certain uh, different ways of looking at things. Still, it all has to balance itself out inside the system. And once you have those fundamental inner workings of the system, then it gets to the same point inside of you. It's all about having a healthy system, and but the point is basically what I really want to get across is you cannot really mix just all the systems. You cannot take whatever is to your liking from here or there. The system has to be balanced out in itself, and in that sense also working for you. So you might sacrifice the balance of the whole system once you take in something from some other system that is meant to work with other elements than what you are dealing with. So just to bring that, because you might look at some presentations, some papers or discussions, and think to yourself, oh, these Ayurvedic doctors have a real point there, or this Siddha medicine way of looking at things is really interesting, or this Unani way of going into the temperature and the humidity and all these elements have a totally different approach maybe. But in the end, what we've been seeing up to now is that the goal is the same. The direction is basically the same. It's actually maybe different ways or vehicles or tools to get there. So just adding that before we go on, and we will go deeper with all these stuff during the discussions. So now we go on with Dr. Vishnu Priya, who now has her presentation. So please.
Yes, sir. Sorry for the interruption and thanks for your waiting. I hope Vinayak sir got my mail.
Right. Yes, he told me his.
Can you make me co-host?
No.
You are actually.
Okay.
Excuse me, Vinay sir, can you
Yeah.
please download that PPT in your system?
Yeah,
Sometimes smart arts are.
I have
there.
actually. It's in my system.
Okay, sir. I am now.
here.
It's playing. Yeah,
It's
it's
here,
playing
yeah.
now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Welcome.
so much.
So whenever
Can I-
you want me to change, you just say next. I can.
Oh, sure, sir. Thank you. Good evening, respected faculties. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Knowledge Festival program and organizers for giving me this opportunity, and also appreciating for your hard work to organize this program. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to a dramatic loss of human life worldwide and presents an unprecedented challenge to public health and the world of work. People are exposed to so many viruses and bacteria in their daily lives that they don't even realize. But the key to be safe from it is to have a strong and alert immune system. So please change next slide. Introduction. Ayurveda, being the science of life, propagates the gifts of nature in maintaining healthy and happy living. Ayurveda, extensive knowledge based on preventive care by which each individual can achieve by uplifting and maintain his or her immunity. Nowadays, there is a gradual decrease in immunity of human beings. Many new and incurable diseases are spreading worldwide. COVID-19 is one such viral disease. Prevention is the best strategy to deal with it. Hence, it is necessary to boost immunity in order to prevent this disease. Various medicinal plants or herbs are known as immunity boosters, namely. So here I am dealing with 6 herbs and its research work. So please change Haridra next slide. Yeah, thank you. Haridra or curcumin, botanical name Curcuma longa, family Zingiberaceae. In the context of preventive and supportive therapy, several polyphenolic compounds extracted from natural products were identified with varied antiviral mechanisms such as targeting virus host-specific interactions, viral entry, replication, and assembly. In line with these findings, curcumin is one of the natural compounds that had been widely investigated for its antiviral effects. It is reported that curcumin exerts antiviral activities against broad spectrum of viruses, including HIV, influenza virus, Zika virus, and all. So please change. Previous, yes. Yeah, maybe actually I made it in smart art. That's why the words are not visible. Actually, there was about an article. So the article name is Promising Role of Curcumin Against Viral Diseases Emphasizing COVID-19 Management, a review on the mechanistic insights with reference to host pathogen interaction and immunomodulation. In this article, their study suggests that curcumin can prevent COVID-19 infections by inhibiting the pathogen entry, viral genome replication, and steps in the endosomal pathway, along with inhibition of T cell signaling by impairing the autophagy-mediated antigen-presenting pathway. So next slide. Yeah, okay. So the first antiviral effect of curcumin against SARS-CoV virus is its potential for preventing the binding of viral S protein to the ACE2 receptor and initiate the host cell infection process. So next slide. Potential role of curcumin in COVID-19 management. Curcumin can potentially block pathogen entry into host cell irrespective of the presence of envelope, along with inhibiting the viral genome expansion, while it can also inhibit virion release mechanisms in some cases. Comparing with the available literature, it has been suggested that COVID virus infection can be prevented by inhibition of viral entry, viral genome release, and replication within the host cell. In addition to this, curcumin-induced immunomodulation plays an important role in viral infection. So curcumin can potentially inhibit the SARS-CoV-2 entry within a human, mainly by blocking the ACE2 receptor. So next slide. Ashwagandha, botanical name Withania somnifera, family Solanaceae. Ashwagandha can be used for the prevention of coronavirus due to its property like promoting betterment for health and longevity by an increased defense mechanism. Many kinds of research are conducted on ashwagandha to prove its immunomodulatory, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, neuroprotective, anti-stress properties. Withanolides from Withania somnifera as an immunity booster and act against COVID-19. Sir, please change. So we know COVID-19 has been classified into 3 levels of severity: mild, moderate, and severe. Malaise fever, dry cough is considered as a mild level. The fever is mediated by COX-2 enzyme and prostaglandin molecules. The antipyretic effect of Withania somnifera is evident through COX-2 inhibition and prostaglandin suppression. The second level considers pulmonary involvement with or without hypoxia. At this stage, a rational administration of anti-inflammatory therapy is suggested. Withania somnifera is well known for its anti-inflammatory action in several inflammatory diseases. A severe stage of systemic hyperinflammation is caused by immune cells-induced cytokine storm. So Withania somnifera is a promising immunomodulatory agent to maintain physiological immune harmonizing. Sir, please change. The antiviral properties of Withania somnifera may interfere with viral entry and subsequent life cycle. The metabolites of Withania somnifera were explored for their antiviral potential against SARS-CoV proteins using a computational molecular docking tool. It is indicated that withanol may disrupt host virus interaction by destabilizing the complex of AC2 receptor binding domain of a spike protein. Sir, please change. It's about ginger. So the botanical name is Zingiber officinale, family Zingiberaceae. So the phytochemicals gingerol, a promising drug of choice for COVID-19. By using molecular docking technique, phytocompound 6 gingerol possesses excellent drug likeness with zero violations and very good pharmacokinetic properties. The present study proves that 6 gingerol from the ginger plant could be served as a promising drug to treat the novel COVID-19. Sir, please change. Actually, it's due to the smart artwork problem. Okay. So it's about Tokkor cinnamon, botanical name Cinnamon verum, family Lauraceae. In silico identification of potential inhibitors from cinnamon against main protease as spike glycoprotein of SARS-CoV. This research study is intended to recognize the phyto-derived antiviral substances from cinnamon against COVID-19 main protease enzyme and to understand the in silico molecular basis of its activity. In the present study, 48 isolates compound from cinnamon retrieved through the PubMed database are subjected to docking analysis. The study shows that the 9 phytochemicals of cinnamon are very likely against the main protease enzyme of COVID-19. Sir, please change. Guduji or Giloy, botanical name Tinospora cordifolia, family Menispermaceae. So Guduji is one of the most commonly used herbs in Ayurveda. There are in silico studies which show its high binding efficacy against SARS-CoV targets involved in attachment and replication of the virus. Alcoholic and aqueous extracts of Tinospora cordifolia have been investigated effectively for immunomodulatory potential. The result revealed that the extract significantly caused macrophage activation. Sir, please change. Sorry, it's due to the some error. Computationally approached inhibition potential of Tinospora cordifolia towards COVID-19 targets. They have chosen 2 targets to study the interaction of the constituents of the Tinospora cordifolia, angiotensin converting enzyme, and integral membrane glycoprotein. It serves as the human receptor for SARS-CoV and the main protease which is involved in processing the polyprotein that is translated from viral RNA. With the above 2 targets, they have carried out molecular docking studies with 31 different constituents of Tinospora cordifolia. The results of molecular docking and ADMET studies have revealed 6 constituents as potential drug candidates that can inhibit the binding of SARS-CoV spike protein with the human receptor AC2 protein. Sir, please change. About Estimado or licorice, botanical name Glycyrrhiza glabra, family name Fabaceae. The article name is Molecular Docking and ADMET Study of Bioactive Compounds of Glycyrrhiza glabra against Main Protease of SARS-CoV. The present study demonstrates molecular docking study of Glycyrrhiza glabra, active compounds such as glyceric acid and glabridin against the main protease of this virus. The finding concludes that all the 3 active compounds of Glycyrrhiza glabra have the potential to be strong inhibitors for main protease of SARS-CoV virus, but glyceric acid has a high binding affinity and a good ADMET properties than the other 2. Sir, please change. Dietary measures. So it is mandatory to attain and maintain good nutritional status to fight against the virus. A balanced diet will guarantee a strong immune system that can help withstand any assault by the virus. So it is beneficial to drink warm water throughout the day. It will help to decrease the viral load in your body and also helps over the blood circulation. As per Minister of Ayush, so one can go for drink herbal tea or decoction made from tulsi, dalchini, black pepper or dry ginger rising once or twice a day. And add jaggery or fresh lemon juice to according to your taste if needed. And golden milk, half teaspoon turmeric powder in 150 ml hot milk once or twice a day. Avoid in case of indigestion. And spices like turmeric, curcumin, coriander, garlic are recommended in cooking. And also clove powder mixed with natural sugar or honey can be taken 2 to 3 times a day in case of cough or throat irritation. Always follow fresh, warm, balanced diet. Avoid junk food items and all. Sir, please change. So vitamin C, D rich foods, fruits like orange, kiwi, papaya, guava are rich in vitamin C and should be included in diet. Moreover, some vegetables like eggplant, beetroot, spinach, cauliflower are known to be quite rich in vitamin C and are good for immunity. So the green vegetables like broccoli, mushrooms are a few immunity boosters that one can include in the diet. Berries can also be included in the diet along with foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, beans, flax seeds, and even some nuts. These foods helps in building and strengthening immunity at great level. A study conducted by a team of researchers led by Dr. David in the University of Chicago Medicine suggests the people with vitamin D deficiency were almost twice as likely to contract the virus as compared to the ones with normal levels of vitamin D. The study conducted on 489 patients showed the relative risk of testing positive for COVID-19 was 1.77 times greater for people with deficient vitamin D status. Sir, next slide. So we can conclude that in the current pandemic scenario, precautions and boosting immunity are one of the best choices to get away from COVID-19 infection. Ayurveda can offer the best option having preventive as well as curative measures. Many herbs have been mentioned in the Ayurvedic test, which have immunomodulatory action or works as immunoboosting drugs. We can boost and maintain our immunity with aids of the traditional herbaceuticals used in our daily life. Sir, please change. So these are my references. A comprehensive literature search was done on PubMed, Science Direct, Google Scholar, Ayurveda Samhita, and all, and few research articles also were added. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really, one thing that was a question that came up was, I mean, you had with the clove taking in, but what is there a way to find out how to use each of the herbs, how many times, when, with which maybe ingredients or whatever, because many people, especially here in the West, interested in the Ayurvedic science or other Indian sciences, they don't have the cultural background maybe to know from their mother and grandfather or whoever might be around how things work, how these should be taken in, or even many Indian recipes already have a certain idea and structure behind it that goes together with this. So they don't have it and they don't know how to use it. Now they hear from you, from us, from anybody knowledgeable who says, you know, take in this herb and that is good for immunity, that is good for a cold, that is good. But how do we use it? Is there a place to find that out? Is there a basic way which always works, or should we find some professional who can help us with that?
Okay, sir, that was a nice question. Actually, we Ayurvedic peoples follow certain basic principles. So first thing is Chikitsa Pradhanam Avasthana Vidhanam. So symptomatic treatment, what we are giving. So according to the symptoms, we are giving the treatment. Also depends upon the Prakriti, means every individual is having its own physical constitution. So according to that basic principles, we are prescribing some medicines.
So actually, we can say you would need a professional or some help to find out what is your body type, what is the kind of herbs that would fit for you, right?
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
So this is really, yeah, this is important to get out there. So because people can buy certain things and they think to themselves, maybe it's natural, it cannot be of any harm, but then the wrong usage or dosage or something might do some harm in the end, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for this presentation.
Okay.
Just one thing I have to say to our viewers, to the community, because we have been dealing with this issue for some time during the pre-talks, where of course COVID-19 is an issue that comes up all the time, because the topic of the festival is immune system immunity, enhancing of the immune system. And therefore, we have had some back and forth because of the sensitive matter that COVID-19 has turned into, because it's a lot of opinions and politics behind it. And we really have to say all the time that we have no basic idea of a political idea, let's say, like that. And also, just when Dr. Shinoy was presenting the COVID protocol, the Ayurvedic COVID protocol of the Ayush, we had some backlash, because people would say, or YouTube would say, that there is a certain WHO definition of COVID-19, and that there is a definition of the treatments, and anything that might go against that is prohibited. And videos would be taken down, channels would be closed. So all we're saying is everything you hear here going about COVID-19 is basically in addition to whatever WHO says. So please understand, it's not about take that out and do this. It's just like Dr. Shinoy was telling us. We can support the whole medical system by improving the basic level of health and immunity, by that not putting all that burden on the healthcare system, and also making life easier for people who contract COVID-19, because if you build up your system, if you can use tools of other systems to improve your position, then you should do it. I mean, there is no, and as we talked about also with Ayurvedic and Siddha doctors, there is a very old understanding and concept of vaccination in Ayurveda, and there is no against each other. And this is the whole idea and concept of this knowledge festival, to bring people together to the same table, without having any agenda to have someone winning the trophy. There is nothing to win. We all just have to find the all the possible tools to get through things together. And once we can understand that, we would understand maybe that we're not going against any WHO rulings or guidance. So please understand. Also, Dr. Vishnupriya kindly just showed us more ways to handle a situation that is putting a lot of pain on many societies, on the whole planet. So at least on human beings. So thank you for your presentation. All right. Now we're back after those nice presentations. Coming to our discussion round, to learn more about possibilities about nutrition and the immune system. Now, we have with us Dr. Shruti Shridhar, who was also on one of our pre-talks. All of you who saw that know her. If not, you can always go back to our YouTube channel and watch all the content. And also on the website, knowledgefestival.org, you can use the link to our YouTube channel and see all the videos. There are playlists with Knowledge Festival pre-talks and also all the talks of this real happening, which is going on now. So we had Dr. Shridhar already, and we also have Dr. Prashant with us. We are also awaiting Miss Geeta, who was also on one of our pre-talks. So without further ado, we jump right in the middle of it. And I go with the first question round through with, let's start with Dr. Shridhar. Now, we heard some things about nutrition and the immune system. Also, remembering our talk, your presentation. Oh, Ms. Geeta is also here. Hello, welcome. So you already showed us some basic elements of nutrition and the immune system being very close to each other, being part of each other. So maybe you can just, as a short intro, give us your ideas coming from your system, how the nutrition in this form that we are hearing can help the immune system, or let's say what kind of food or whatever can be used to enhance your immune system. You're on mute. You have to. Yes.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining in today. So homeopathy basically deals with the person as an individual. We take the person having the disease and not the disease itself. And based on that, we treat the person as a whole. So that we believe in taking the signs and symptoms that the person is suffering from and not just the diagnosis of the disease. And those symptoms are of course dealt with the help of homeopathic medicines, which uh, interact with the immune system of your body. So we believe that power, the internal vital force is within you only, and that helps you to get rid of any kind of disease that may come through to you. So homeopathy is just a helping mechanism. With the help of those medicines, we stimulate the inner vital force of the individual and let them fight with the disease directly. So your immunity plays a very important role over there. And it's not just what you eat, what you see, what you hear, what you put into your mind, all of that plays a big role in maintaining your
Sorry, it's hanging. Your connection kind of it's with the audio, and then you just froze.
yeah,
Uh,
Zen.
yes.
Yeah, the network and issue. Sorry for
No problem. I will give a short maybe recap also. So what you were saying is that you are not looking at the disease, but always at the person dealing with that disease, and after that you can decide how to move on. It's just maybe the internet connection is a little hard. So that's the first idea. Maybe are there in the I mean in the homeopathic uh, um, structure, you do not use um, say real food, right? You have the very sophisticated way of extracting the energy of something, but not really eating that thing, right?
yes, not in the raw format. We utilize the metals made of different kinds of materials. It could be food, it's from elements, it's from plant sources, animal sources, uh, all of that. So each, so if you take, suppose if you would want to make a medicine out of bananas, you take the banana and it is soaked in an alcoholic medium, and then the after a few days, the alcohol, the remaining substrate is taken out, and then it is potentized to give it that power and get them out. So really potentized, not off, or the
Sorry, it's breaking again. Uh, I'm really, this is a little unfortunate because this is a really interesting part. We also might get a few recipes for some things, but now you broke down, your connection went away, your sound was off. Okay, so I got this. We have this different view to extract the possibilities of a food as medicine. Let me please go to Ms. Geeta, because she also had a talk with us, especially on the nutrition. She is a nutrition specialist, and basically in the modern form of it. So what are your thoughts on um, not only helping to maintain a body, but to boost the immune system of a body. What kind of ingredients or food should we really look at?
Thank you, Wes, and thank you for having me back on the for this discussion. And very happy to be here as a part of this conference. And thanks to Vinayak again. Good evening to all the panelists too, and of course the audience from Bangalore, India. Now, like we discussed, there's not one standalone concept when it comes to well-being, and definitely I think immunity is so intricate and interwoven. I'm sure everybody would agree with that. So when it comes to me being as a dietitian, when we say obviously food first approach, yes, I think the kind of food, I'm sure with the alternative medicine and the practitioners here will agree, because from the, what we say, the sattva, or, what you say is the sattvic food, the fresh and plant-based food, of course, has a long way to go because of all its phytonutrients, it's antioxidants. So beginning with just eating our traditional food itself, I think India is so diverse, and every region and geographical area has such exquisite, unique cuisine. But if you see traditionally, yes, there has always been the concept of a balanced, nourishment, where if you see any typical Indian thali, be it from any region, there's always a balance of carbohydrate, proteins, and definitely a lot of fiber coming, from your vegetables. So I think if you can maintain, and with the advent of globalization, today we have everything available everywhere. So you have blueberries that get flown into the country. And of course, we also have our Indian jamun that's also fighting equally for its, importance. So as long as you are able to try and strike a balance, you cannot alienate the concept of newer food options that's available, and not to mention convenience food, which is just so handy, even with the pandemic, where there's been a lack of opportunity for adequate fruit, vegetables. It's just so easy to take things off the shelf and your food is ready in 2 minutes, ready to eat foods. And so just to be able to consume healthy home cooked food, I think that should be really the mantra. Try and cook your food and cook your own meals as much as possible, whenever possible, because it's definitely far more healthier. It contains less processing, lesser trans fats, and definitely not to mention the processed or the saturated fats, which are there to enhance the shelf life, and the flavor enhancers, which obviously make you eat more. So try and go back to eating your traditional meals. Like if you see in South India, we ate idli, sambar, dosa with, either rice. So if you see that, it was balanced by itself. There is carbohydrates, there is proteins, and not to mention the fermented foods like the probiotic, the curd, and definitely we always had, be it any festival or otherwise, what we typically wouldn't consume now, even the leaves like radish leaves, which were just always used as a raw salad. The concept of salad is now with the Mediterranean diet, and of course the DASH diet, again, for prevention of hypertension. They are the best diets today, and we're all going back to the same thing: eat fresh produce, eat a lot of fruits, vegetables, for your heart, for your gut, the microbiome, the good bacteria. So I think in all, as a dietitian, my message for the audience who are tuning in today would be that yes, please do consume those typical meals, which anyway would be healthy, from a khichdi to any rice roti combination, which would be typically with your rajma chole. So I think they're good enough for you, but just ensure that you do consume 4 to 5 any seasonal vegetable that's available, not to mention the fruits, because that's where you're getting all your immune boosting properties. Like I always say, you don't need those fancy imported apples coming from Washington. You just can eat your Himachal apples. You can eat your jamun versus blueberry. You can eat your guava instead of kiwi. Just eat whatever is available, because they're far more nourishing. because they're just, probably closer to the point that they have been plucked. I think probiotics I've already talked about, good fiber, and I think probably one important thing I'd like to highlight for vegetarians or vegans is that, yes, today with the modern science, we know that nutritionally there are some challenges for vegetarians and vegans, because vitamin B12 deficiency, or vitamin D, because these are not available in a larger quantity in food alone. Probably even if you're a vegetarian, you consume eggs, there is still a very minuscule amount of vitamin D or B12 available. And soya excessively is slightly confusing data on, though the isoflavones are very beneficial for prevention of cancer. Processed soya is good because it has lower fat content, but also the soya bean by itself has a very high phytic acids and other anti-nutritional properties. So excessively it's not very helpful, especially for men, because then it can have some hormonal influence, being the plant estrogen, and the male sexual hormone is testosterone. So I think the vegetarian vegans definitely could look at their routine blood works and address any nutritional deficiency with, especially vitamin D, B12, and iron, because the vegetarian meals are very high in fiber. And I think that's why we say plant-based foods are very healthy, because if you see colon cancer and so many other diseases that can be prevented by a wholesome intake of these whole foods. So you have to definitely take care of iron, because of these very high amount of oxalates and phytates that have a nutrient interaction. The iron in the vegetarian meal is not fully absorbed because it's the non-heme iron. So whatever you eat, be it a dark green leafy vegetable, just add a bit of fresh salad like a tomato, or squeeze some lime on it, and that way the iron helps in the absorption of the vitamin C helps in the absorption of iron. And also for micronutrients, for immune support, we've talked so much about overdoing supplements off the shelf with vitamin D and zinc, vitamin C. You really don't need that. Just eat those handful of very economical options of watermelon, pumpkin seeds, your pumpkin, watermelon, sunflower seeds. They're very good in zinc, selenium. You don't need those fancy Brazil nuts, like I always say. Just few soaked almonds, soaked and peeled, because then you can get rid of the skin and the tannins. The calcium is absorbed better. So just look at things which were traditionally done anyway. So if you can overall look at this, and of course vitamin D, because of the pandemic of the pollution and urban living, it's not fully synthesized in the skin. So the cholesterol gets a bad rap, but it's the cholesterol that's the fuel for vitamin D synthesis. The cholesterol will anyway go on. It's synthesized in the liver for several vital, functions. So as long as you kind of monitoring your levels, because vitamin D is an immune modulator, meaning that it's not just for bones, teeth, but today we know that from maintaining your mood, preventing depression, to immunity, preventing obesity, and even managing blood sugars. I think today we have a lot of updated evidence-based studies which are coming up with conclusive data of how important it is to maintain vitamin D.
So actually you are putting here a lot of emphasis on vitamin D. So we can take that one away. By the way, just to Vinayak, we have some things to do, because we have to get some extraction out of this whole festival, as sort of a guideline for us and everybody else to move on. And might be confusing for some people, because you hear eat raw vegetables, never eat them raw, cook them always, and then just like Dr. Shruti just said, put the banana in the water, and somebody else says go into the sun, and someone else says don't go into the sun. So but the point I want to make is that there is a very inherent logic to all of this, and there is a way to combine all these things with each other, and each of them has a place and the functionality that really works. But as you said, if you are living a certain lifestyle, then you need to look into it. I mean, in Europe, maybe as soon as, let's say, 1 to 2 generations ago, people used to have meat only once a week, best case, only on Sundays. So they called it, the Sunday meat. And the rest of the week was pretty much vegetarian. And nowadays we have, it's pretty normal to have like 10, 12 times some meaty meal in a week, which is basically how things have developed. So, I mean, it's there are ways, and each of these systems is maybe working best from a certain point of the road wherever you are, and has uh, an inherent logic that we can combine in the end. So just thank you for your first, I think we come with a second round, and I would like to go to Dr. Prashant, who kindly jumped in and will help us with his ideas. He's the principal of the Alvas Ayurvedic Medical College from Mudabidri in Karnataka. So we have a great mind of Ayurveda here with us. What would your ideas be? What's the idea of Ayurveda to specifically strengthen the immune system with nutrition?
Yeah, thank you for Thank you for having me on board. So the thing is about Ayurveda has told for immunity as Vyadik Shamatva. The Sanskrit terminology what has been used is Vyadik Shamatva, and one more terminology what closely correlated is about something called as Ojas. So both Vyadik Shamatva and Ojas has been elaborately mentioned in the ancient textbooks of Ayurveda. And for that, what Vyadik Shamatva, the Vyadik Shamatva can be taken as the outcome of the things what we do in life with relation to nutrition, food, living style, etc. So Vyadik Shamatva is basically the output of what we see, of how we lead a life. So in Ayurveda, Vyadik Shamatva have been told as one is Sahaja, that is natural, and one is Prakrita, or that is one more is something called as acquired, what we say in the modern parlance of immunity. So the Sahaja, Vyadik Shamatva, and Ojas. So all these things go hand in hand based upon the type of lifestyle what we try to lead. And when we talk about the type of lifestyle what we lead, food plays an important role in that one. And it all depends upon our prakriti. The basic idea behind taking food is based upon the prakriti of an individual, about the place where he is living. That is what Ayurveda has told as Desha, Kala, that is the seasonal aspect. And one more important point which I'd like to emphasize, what Ayurveda has told is something called as Viruddha Ahara. Viruddha Ahara means, I have been listening to the past few doctors who have been speaking here. They have told about the importance of food habits, but Ayurveda has one unique point, that is Viruddha Ahara, that is opposite food. Opposite food in the sense, some of the food should not be taken together, because of which it can lead to actions similar to that of a poison which is acting inside the body. And they have told about 18 types of Viruddha Ahara, that is 18 types of mismatches which one should not do while taking food. Easy example is based upon the quantity. What I has told is madhu, that is ghee and honey, should not be taken in equal quantity or consumed in equal quantity. Even though both ghee as well as honey are very important medicinal aspects, but when taken together in equal quantity internally, they can act similar to that of a poison. This is one Viruddhahara concept what has been told in Ayurveda. And one more Viruddhahara what they have told in Ayurveda is about something, for an example, of fish and milk. Fish, when consumed, should not be taken together with milk or milk products. If at all a person takes fish and milk together, over a period of time, it can lead to some serious skin diseases, which may be difficult to treat later. And similarly, they have told about Kala Viruddha, Desha Viruddha, etc. One more example, what I can quote is, say, curd or yogurt being preserved in a copper vessel. If or any other store material is stored in a copper vessel, the store material will react with the copper vessel, which can lead to poisoning of the person. So these are some of the examples what I can quote here. Something about Viruddhahara. And one more thing what Ayurveda has told is about Prakriti and Prakrita of the person. As you know, a person who is living in a person who is born and brought up in a particular region, he has to adapt to the particular food habits of the particular region. For example, a person who is living in India, and due to the fancy names or fancy advertisements now, people tend to follow commercialization of the product, and they tend to fall prey for that one. And an Indian going for an, say, olive oil is basically against the principles of Ayurveda, because olive doesn't grow in India and whatever. So basically here, people are in southern India, they are more adept to coconut oil or groundnut oil, and in northern parts of India, mustard oil or sesame oil, etc. So these are the types of oil based upon the region where they are staying. If they are very much adapted to the food of that particular region, it will be better for the individual's health. Otherwise, any opposite practices can lead to the person falling disease. And one more thing what Ayurveda has told is, if a proper food and lifestyle is followed, the individual may not need any medicines, and the immunity of the person will be at its peak. But on the other hand, if a person do not follow a proper lifestyle or food, any form of immunity building medicines taken also may not be quite helpful. So the emphasis, bottom line is, Ayurveda has told about the importance of food. And if the food is properly taken, the immunity will be in a much higher position in the person, and he may not need any medicines in his life. Otherwise, an improper food can lead to a disease state of both mind as well as body, leading to the disease state of the complete disease state of the society.
Beautiful. Oh, that was a very interesting point, that if there is a mismatch, then you are minimizing your energy levels, basically, and making it easier for outside intruders to come into your body and do some damage. So and also interesting to understand that once you weaken your system, then all the help you're giving your system will be weakened too. So it's it's a very elaborate system. It's just that also people need really to know how this works. So this needs some education on how to eat. I mean, as I said, some regions, maybe in India, have this cultural background where maybe this whole knowledge is ingrained in that area, and people just eat that way. The recipes are like that, and the you know, the habits are like that. But also some people like here in Europe, who really want to live a healthy life, and some of them go towards Ayurveda. They they try to eat Indian food, you know, because it's part of the folklore of Ayurveda. But basically, what you are saying is, if you are in Europe, you need to eat European food, and that would be the Ayurvedic way.
Exactly.
Right? So, but one issue we have there is that this knowledge has not uh, been kept alive in Europe. It's only been kept alive in India. So Indian people have this knowledge about the mismatches and the matches and what works together. And when you come to Northern America or Europe or wherever else, we will have to really categorize all the produces, all the ingredients to really get to that deep level of, rules and understanding of food. So this there is some work to do there, but I mean, basically everywhere around the world, people can follow the basic rules of the habits of eating, the timing, and also the seasonal and regional part of it. So uh, just to say that we can also in Europe or America, we can enhance the immune system by following certain Ayurvedic rules, even if it might not be advisable to use the Ayurvedic recipes one by one coming from India to Europe. So thank you for this first round. Let me get to a second try with Dr. Shruti. Maybe we have um, a little bit of a better connection in between these questions. Is it possibly working? But it's
Yes.
yeah. I mean, for some reason you start out, it's great, and then it's maybe the connection or something. It just breaks off once it's getting really interesting. So just before that, you broke off. Maybe you can finish that one. You were saying you don't just eat the banana, but I mean, just a question, because is there a difference between European homeopathy and let's say Indian, or is there any kind? Because I think it started out in Europe, and they have this kind of procedure to extract the power of anything. So I mean, you take the water after some treatment, and then you put in more water, and then you have to kind of like I think like kind of pushing it against something, or bringing some kind of energy into that water, and always more and more water, so you have less and less of that original thing. So I don't know, you were talking about maybe uh, a different way or something to
It's the same thing. It originated in Europe, thanks to Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. He's the father of homeopathy, and from there it has been propagated all around the world. The homeopathy practiced is the same, but the way the doctors take into consideration, some doctors take into consideration only the mental state of the patient. Some doctors, like in Kolkata, they practice the three-legged stool method, wherein they take only the three main characteristic symptoms of the patient, and then they prescribe the remedy. And some would prescribe based on the physical ailments of the patient and not the mental ailments of the patient. So in the end, the principle of homeopathy is still the same, that like cures like. So whatever medicine that we do take, it's basically kept in alcohol, not in water. And that alcohol is then taken and potentized and made into the medicine. So as you increase the potency, as the power of the dose increases, the actual raw crude material, whatever was taken, would not be there. it goes on decreasing in nano sizes, and then the actual amount of the raw material is not there. The crude form is not there. So we start from crude form. If you take, suppose you want to make a medicine from tulsi, that is immersed into the alcoholic liquid, and that becomes your mother tincture. That mother tincture, there are many mother tinctures which are used as is, like calendula is used for many wounds, all kinds of wounds, or another medicine called berberis vulgaris is used for kidney stones. Just the mother tincture directly is taken along with water. Because it's alcohol based, you cannot take it directly, it would burn your mouth. That's why we take a vehicle or a medium, so that would be water, or the homeopathic pills. They are basically sugar pills, into which we add the homeopathic medicine, the dilutions, and then we prescribe it to the patient, or we dispense it to the patient. Now, after the mother tincture is prepared, we then potentize it with recurrent strokes, like you mentioned, and if it's in the liquid form. But if it's in a powdered form, then we triturate it again in a mortar and pestle. How we grind any spice, similar to that fashion, we triturate the medicine, and then we increase the potency of the same, and then that is prescribed. The main principle of homeopathy is like cures like, wherein any remedy that is given to a diseased individual. So suppose if you have cold with runny nose and white discharge, and if a medicine A is given to you, that medicine can actually produce the same signs and symptoms in a healthy individual. That's how it's been proved also. Homeopathy treats those symptoms in diseased individuals which are already produced in healthy individuals. So that's how we come across the whole symptoms of it. So if you see raw onions, when you cut raw onions, you have a lot of watering from the eyes and from the nose. And onion as a remedy in homeopathy is very good for rhinitis, allergic rhinitis, and then hay fever, and all kinds of colds that you have, or runny nose that you have, and watery discharge from the eyes. All of that gets cured by using onion in the homeopathic format. And apart from that, if we take any other remedy, whatever remedy you want, if you eat it raw, you do end up having certain signs and symptoms. And that's how Dr. Hahnemann started the part of homeopathy, wherein he took a bark, that is the cinchona bark, which was actually used to treat malaria fevers at that point of time. And he took that, and he saw that when he was healthy, it produced certain symptoms on him. And that's how homeopathy started from there.
Okay, so I mean, is it that is the basic idea to treat certain ailments, or is it possible with homeopathy to strengthen just the basic structure? I mean, just also a second question to finish. Is that like, because when Dr. Geeta tells us to take in the vegetables with all the fibers, etc., you cannot take in any fibers with homeopathy. So is it so? Also, all the vitamins, all the minerals, and everything that is in any eatable stuff, is it? Will the body be forced by the homeopathic procedure to kind of have the same effect as if being loaded with vitamins, or is it a different approach? So is it something against an ailment, or is it something that can help the structure itself?
So there are 12 biochemic salts which are prepared from different elements. They are basically salts. So you have sodium chloride, that is natrium, that is salt, common salt. So similarly, there are 12 salts like this, wherein they are known as biochemic salts, and they are given to patients or to people in their body, if there is something going wrong, we believe that it is because of the lack of one salt, and that salt is replenished with the help of homeopathic biochemic salts, and that helps regain the healthy state. As far as nutrition and immunity are concerned, what you eat is definitely the best. What you consume as part of food is definitely the best. What homeopathy does to hand in hand to go parallel with this is that homeopathy acts on your immune system directly. If you are healthy and if you take a homeopathic remedy, that's how we prove the drug. That's called drug proving. So if at all you are on homeopathic treatment, your immunity is automatically built to such an extent that you won't get recurrent diseases as a whole. Continuously, if someone is prone to many illnesses and they are on homeopathic treatment, it is sure that they wouldn't be prone to so many illnesses in the long run. And homeopathy again helps like stimulate the immune system, and probably because it's dormant or sleeping when you are diseased, homeopathy kind of reignites it and tells it like you have to fight against the disease, and that's how homeopathy works then.
Okay, I understand. Thank you very much. We go to Dr. Geeta. Now, one thing that was going through my mind was because you are a specialist as a nutrition specialist also for sports nutrition on the highest level. So now when you know, when companies, car companies are working on their cars for the Formula One, they do all the fancy stuff, you know, and a few years later, one or two of those features come down to the whole society. So with great sports people, with athletes of the highest grade, you are in the International Olympic Committee. So, I mean, these are the real athletes. And are they doing anything special? Would you do anything special with them? Let's say, you know that people have to go to the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and you have the whole COVID outbreak there, and you want to make sure that things go smoothly. So is there something, some tricks that you do with super athletes that might be useful to some people in everyday life?
Yes, totally. Thankfully, I've been very fortunate to study sports nutrition from the International Olympic Committee, and I've been, yes, of course, very few clients who have also participated at the international level. Not an Olympian yet, and hopefully in Paris. But yes, I think athletic training is, if you also see, I think India has come a long way, and for the first time, we've bagged 7 medals. Considering a country like ours with so massive and the challenges of resource infrastructure, you know, I think sport is expensive, and it's not just the equipment, but the training, the coaches, and I think we barely have a dozen dietitians over the last dozen or 14 years who also have degree from Olympics. Though this program started, postgraduate diploma in sports nutrition was launched by the Olympics in 2008. So meaning that, yes, I think there's lots for us to achieve, and with the challenges of, you know, putting together the sports science team, but we're kind of evolving, and sports science teams are now more inclusive in understanding the priority and the importance of, you know, sports nutrition, and a lot of emphasis is given on, you know, the athletic training versus, or to combine that with the right nourishment. So as you said, you don't grow an Olympian overnight. I think it takes, we know Olympic level athletes who also do not bag medals, and it can be excruciatingly painful for them physically and emotionally. There's so much talk on the mental well-being with this current Olympics. So it takes years and years of efforts to hone and groom an Olympian. So any athletic training takes years, and I've been very lucky. I've had kids, I think, about 5-6 years onwards, and typically have about 8 or 9 years swimmers with me. So yes, today the understanding of sports is changing. Parents are more concerned about the overall well-being of athletes. They do want to consult, a dietitian, and very few qualified registered sports dietitians like me. So coaches also like to collaborate with us for sound science, because in the end, you do not want to jeopardize an athlete's health. So I think, peak athletic training, when we look at, preseason or the, peak competition cycle itself, we not only look at food intake, because the athletic guidelines, or the in India we have the recommended dietary allowance, or what you call as your daily value in US, and just the ballpark point of how much nutrients are needed for an individual. Somebody at my age, honestly, at middle age, you don't need anything massive. You're just looking at maintenance. So that's maintenance calories versus your protein, and like we talked of, high intake of fruit, vegetables, for just overall well-being. But for athletes, it's a different, totally different realm of higher needs, of higher calorie. Probably they eat 2 times or more, 3,500 calorie diet, which is over double the times of what an average person wouldn't require. So there's a higher need for not just calories. So we follow the Olympic guidelines, and we don't go by our recommended ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, and National Institute of Nutrition. We have a certain community guidelines as to what a person would ideally want to look at their intake in terms of your protein, or be it your calorie intake or your energy. So for athletes, we have higher protein needs. So meaning if you're vegetarian or vegan, and which in a country like India have that, who actually be at a very high elite level, at a national level, and they're training sometimes 6-8 hours or more in a day. I'm talking of just on a daily basis. Okay, I hope I'm audible and my
Yes,
internet
yes,
is
yes.
okay, cool.
There was just a little something, but it's fine.
Yes, something popped up. Okay. So yes, so we kind of work with them through their training cycle, because you can't kind of prepare them overnight for the competition. So, and also exercise-induced inflammation. So today we know by science that the fruit and vegetable is the only way that you can look at upholding the immunity, because exercise-induced inflammation itself can bring down the immunity in athletes. And if you see now, like what we ate in India, the overnight fermented rice to our curds, any fermented food like pickle, which was always a part of our typical traditional food, is of real prime importance for athletes, because I'm not saying that they need to eat the pickle, but any kind of probiotics or good food, which is a part of their normal healthy diet, and fruit, vegetables, polyphenols, green tea, turmeric, again, so much to talk on curcumin being a very powerful antioxidant. So these foods really kind of help reduce the free radicals, or the entire challenge that can be caused inside the body because of high intensity exercise or the training load itself. So we have to look at them, handhold them, and very scientifically look at the blood parameters, look at nutritional deficiency. Because if you're a vegetarian, or for that matter, you may be non-vegetarian, but the iron, vitamin D absorption at the gut level is bioavailability is a different vertical. So we have to kind of really ensure that children, especially in the prime adolescence and the growing years, are not having to face challenges where, if there's overtraining, poor recovery, sleep, it's not just about food alone. So we look at their traditional practices at home, their culture, are they vegetarian, non-vegetarian, likes and dislikes, because sometimes One likes to eat a papaya, but the other one doesn't like the look of it. So there are again prejudices and personal likes, dislikes. So you have to really work with them and give them alternative. And definitely athletes are a different population and a community. You can't put them in the regular slot. They have different needs, and not to mention the muscle building, body composition goals, fat burning in terms of reduction of the fat mass, because athletic performance again is related to their body composition and some weight restricted category many times. And as you look at honing their muscle mass, definitely with the intent of fitness conditioning, and also similarly the body weight exercises in addition to the sport specific guidelines, then we look at it as a very holistic picture and add everything, parts of the puzzle. It's not just the food alone, but nutritional deficiency and definitely the higher demand of requirement of nutrients. And that's why sometimes nutritional supplementation, be it the basic foundational nutrient like I talked about, be it even just iron, based on if their hemoglobin is low, or it's again complicated, right? Nutrient interaction. So you need the vitamin C, the B12. Similarly, vitamin D needs for calcium absorption, you need the vitamin D, the magnesium. So it's again very complicated. So many times oral route alone is not enough. So then we suggest them to see a sports physician who could then administer injections like iron or B12, because then it goes directly into the blood and they rejuvenate much faster. So overall, we look at the sleep quality, because I think in the last few days there's been so much talk on the parent with the parent community that the children are not getting adequate sleep, 6 hours. I think even a normal person, we're saying that you need to, or at least try and make up over 7 hours of sleep, and growing children have a larger requirement. So obviously the number of hours are more, 8, 9, 10, probably based on the age. If you're 10, 11, obviously that age group, you obviously need a little more. So because if you're going to be looking at immunity without having adequate recovery, because if you are going to be training 6 hours a day, which is a minimum in a urban setting like Bangalore, children train early in the morning, go to school, look at the entire day of school or college, and then they have training at the end of the day again, meaning that there is also looking at assignments and so many other commitments and family and socializing. Or I mean, even with the pandemic, if you're home, then they look at hitting the bed, but then there's an early morning training. So we're not sleeping adequate, meaning that you are going to be sore. Your muscle pain, which is what we call delayed onset muscle soreness, is going to be challenging, because if you are sore and you go back to training, so which is like from the fire, what is that called, from the pan to the fire. So then it sets out the whole process of the vicious cycle. So I think somewhere we really have to educate them. And like you aptly said about immunity, and athletes have risk of upper respiratory tract infection, and we know today with good amount of intake of polyphenols, fruits, vegetables, your fermented foods, that can be maintained. So we have to educate them and guide them and give them options of food. Definitely food first, but yes, many times they may definitely need additional supplementation for protein, and then based on the competition cycle again, and the type of sport, the position of the player, based on the kind of activity, we do have sports supplements, from protein to, yes, of course, beetroot juices. I am sure our Ayurvedic friends also must be using that, from nitrates to increasing oxygen capacity, VO2 max, all our spinach juice, to so many other things that we look at.
Yes, thank you. You're not, you didn't make it easy on us, because, I'm trying to look out for the magical thing that we can pass on to everybody, and that's fine. Yesterday we had the Kadukai presentation, and I thought that's it, but then we heard that you have to go for your body type and the season, and then the extra ingredients, and it's just not easy. So we can understand also. Also, if you want to go and throw in your protein, extra protein, and your extra, sportsman ingredients, then you maybe should think about those 6 hours training each and every day. So that's another aspect of it that we miss every now and then. We start to pick things from here and there, but that's really the issue why, especially in the Western world, you know, people just say it's too much for me. I go and these supplements, these vitamins. I have 1 or 2 or 3 pills, and then I go about my life just as given. But at least now we have pickles. You know, that's international. So because you have kimchi to pickled cucumber everywhere. So that's something everybody could add to their
Like
diet. So
Prashant said, our olives are also pickled in brine.
well, I was thinking yesterday, you know, so many people were saying the gut is the second brain. I was thinking for so many people, the gut seems to be the first brain, but now we're trying to get that in order. So the gut, turning the gut into the second brain, will help us to get some control over whatever we're eating. I think that that's a very, it's been so much emphasis on the food and nutrition here that I think we really have to go away from that kind of compulsory eating and to a very much more controlled way of you know, conscious eating, as you would say. But you know, thank you for the disillusion, and the athletes won't give us any magical cure to. Let me just go to and also Vinayak told me you have just some limited time, so if you have to leave at any time, just no problem. We've been happy and grateful for you to be here so long. I just go to a final question to Dr. Prashant, and then I will wrap it up anyway. So, Dr. Prashant, um, now with Ayurveda, maybe for people to understand the working of it. Um, let's say, is there a way for you to see, let's say you have a patient or just a person, and you see a deficiency in their body. You know, you look at them, and I would like to know maybe 1 or 2 examples for something, some kind of deficiency that you would see in a body. You would look at them, you would see this is this kind of skin, and therefore I would recommend this kind of food or this kind of you know, uh, helpful, supportive food for them to get better.
Yeah. So basically, what I understand about your question is you are trying to figure out just by looking at the patient what deficiency he has got. Uh, but on the other hand, I would like to emphasize that Ayurveda do not see as a deficiency. It's about following the principles of dosha, dhatu, and mala. That is tridosha, vata, pitta, kapha, and sapta dhatu, and trimala. So any imbalance between these, or either in a higher proportion or a lower proportion of these in a day-to-day basis, it's okay, it can be manageable. But on a larger scale, if it continues, it can lead to diseases. So basically, as a Ayurveda physician, what we try to understand is what the patient or the person is lacking, or which dosha or dhatu or mala is vitiated, and based upon that, the treatment protocol is followed. So it's not about following one particular food or one particular medicine asset. And that's why it's difficult. Just like, for example, if I may quote, say a patient of fever, in an allopathic system, a paracetamol may work, but in Ayurvedic principles, it may not work like that in that particular manner. So every individual, person to person, the treatment may vary, and we cannot just copy and paste a treatment protocol for all the individuals. Of course, it is learned by experience, and based upon one more thing is, since personally I am a PhD scholar in pharmaceutics, that is the preparation of new formulations, wherein which Ayurvedic physician is supposed to know the ingredients of the formulations more, just like a pharmacologist in a modern parlance is known, because Ayurveda formulation is made up of, in many formulations, you can see that the formulations are made up of 10, 12, or 20 herbs in it. So, if at all one herb could do wonders, only one herb would have been sufficient. It's not the case so. That is why a formulation is made in such a way that it balances the dosha of the person based upon the diseases. Now, coming back to your main agenda of particular food habit or particular medicine, definitely we believe that all the food habits, all the foods are medicines. It's whether it is ahara or aushada. What we say in Ayurveda, ahara or aushada. Both ahara acts like aushada, and aushada should not act like ahara in majority of the patients what we see today. So that is why, irrespective of the food, whether it is a simple rice, wheat, or the main pulses also, that also can be taken into account and made to act like a medicine if given properly. And if it is not administered properly, even a simple basic diet of uh, wheat, rice, or pulses can also cause some diseases. So it's very difficult to pinpoint the answer to your question.
Right, right. Yes, everybody is disillusioning us today. It's just not easy to pinpoint some ways. That's what I just told Dr. Geeta too. That's why so many people are looking out for the easy way, and they find some supplements that are advertising all around health once you take them. And it's really important to be a disillusionist here, because people have to understand, as you just mentioned, even the easiest food, the rice or whatever, might be poison to your body, to your system. So it's not that it's only about one thing is good and one thing is bad. It's as all of you told us, it's about your body type, it's about your shape, it's about the time of the year, the time of the day, the situation you're in, also the whole background, the mental and psychological background possibly. So all these components come into play, and all of you today uh, made us understand actually that none of these systems is giving us that one answer to all the questions. But to be very honest and true, as I said, we have no one from the modern medicine section here today, but even the whole modern medicine is based on this same idea. I mean, there is no modern medicine saying you should live the wrong way. As you do, you should go out and um, sleep badly, and I don't know, misuse your body, and have drink, and kind of eat too much salt and sugar and everything, and it will be fine. It's just that maybe um, some uh, some of these systems that we are dealing with here are very, very strict on that. So with Ayurveda, I understand it's so if I come to you as a patient, I cannot say, I have some ache here and I need some medicine. So you would have to go through my whole life to give me some mixture possibly, right? So there is no predefined
Yeah.
cure for anything. So just as a final note there, what's then with all the basic well-known Ayurvedic boosters like ashwagandha and all the other mixtures that are there to help in daily life? What's your idea on that? Should we, you know?
Yeah, I was expecting this one. Actually, actually, some of the herbs have been told as improving the Vyadhikshamatva. Just like as you are told, ashwagandha may be there, or one more herb called as guduchi, that is Pinusfolia cordifolia may be there. So some of the herbs have been grouped for improving the immunity. So if a person is regularly having the dosage of all these immuno boosters in his day-to-day life, definitely his immunity can be improved. And going by the COVID times, what we are dealing now, definitely I will surely suggest that all of us to take immuno boosters, irrespective of the prakriti of the person, etc. These some herbs will definitely help. If not, it may vary from person to person. For example, it may improve 50% in you or 60% in me, or based upon his age, his living style, his occupation, etc. Immunity booster, definitely, since all the herbs have got a particular property. So ashwagandha it may be, or guduchi it may be, or pippali. So some of the herbs will definitely help in improving the immunity of the person.
And these don't harm your system if you're not,
No,
because
I'm not going to answer that. It's not going to harm. When there is a action, there will be definitely a reaction. So it should all be taken under a proper guidance. And I find that people have a myth in India also, that Ayurveda drugs do not cause any adverse reactions. That's completely myth. I'd like to reiterate that fact, because whenever you have an action of a particular herb, definitely you can expect some reactions or adverse reactions also. People should have a knowledge of that also. Otherwise, they should be under a proper Ayurvedic guidance before taking any medicine. That's why I'm saying that Mr. X should not, Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z, for all of them, ashwagandha will help. No, it's not possible. So you have to assess the person properly before prescribing a medicine, and also for a limited number of days or limited duration. It's not that it can be taken just because it's a herb. It can be taken because I have seen patients taking liters together of decoctions, thinking that it will improve the immunity immediately. Just because a neighbor is suffering from COVID, within 1 week I have to improve my immunity. I will take just like a tea or a coffee. I will be taking decoctions. It's not going to like that. It will cause adverse reactions. That's what you see in newspapers or media. Adverse reactions of Ayurveda, and it brings a bad name to the science actually, if that is taken. So always I suggest that irrespective of whichever be the science, people should not be enrolled in a Google or a WhatsApp university and take the medicine themselves.
right. No, that was very important to hear from the mouth of the master of Ayurveda, because I myself have seen that people go out and try to use some Ayurvedic supplements, and they sometimes have some reactions that are not very pleasant. So yeah, thank you for telling us about how it works. Maybe just to conclude your words, just take some time, or maybe in certain cases the money, and go to at least one consultation to have an idea of your setup of your body, of what might be good for you and not, so that at least you don't do any harm to yourself, because as Dr. Prashant just said, it's these herbs and food is to be seen as very effective on body, just as effective as any kind of medicine. So it can also do the same amount of harm than any medicine can. Well, Vinayak, if you have nothing more to add here, I will wrap it up.
I think that trend of taking supplement is also quite high here. Sometimes my patients, I have to actually take them out of supplements, because they come with 10, 12 just like that, because they read it somewhere or so sometimes just by taking them out of all that, they feel better, so so that's good. Yeah, I think we covered that point. I think that was important actually. Yeah, so it's good. And Prashant sir, thank you very much for actually in short notice taking your time and being here.
Yeah, pleasure was mine. Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you. And Ms. Geeta, again, thank you very much. You've been with us for quite some time, and we'll call you anyway later on also. So thank you very much. And
most welcome. Thank you so much. It was wonderful interacting with all of you.
Yeah. And thank you, Dr. Shruti, also. I mean, she's been with us for a pretty long time. And we will continue our work, because, as I said, the work is not finished with this festival. It is just somewhere in the midway to see where we are, and the study itself will be open even after the festival is over. So we will conclude what we did here today, and it will be kept open for suggestions and additions from other systems and things like that, till we find to that kind of thing what we are looking for, something which is simplified, which is applicable to the people at ground. So again, thank you very much to everybody. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for being with us, and with that, also to the viewers everywhere, social media, YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same station. So be with us. Thank you to everybody. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.